What is up, everybody? Hope you guys are all enjoying your wonderful day. Let me go ahead and get my EpiPen real quick. So this is going to be a stream on today's severe weather event here across specifically portions of the South Central. So I wasn't really planning on having a live stream for this specific event. But I realized that I did not stream last week's event, nor did I stream yesterday's event. So I thought maybe I should stream this one because I've kind of been a little bit slacking here on live streaming here. So I do apologize for that. I kind of have been slacking a little bit here, but let me go ahead and make sure all the audio is working and all that. Alright, so the audio should be working here, so you guys should hear me loud and clear, and hopefully the quality is all good. Let me actually go ahead and pull up very quickly here the day one severe weather outlook so you guys can see what we have at the moment here on the SPC. We do actually have an enhanced risk. Let me go ahead and pull it up real quick. So again, we do actually have, let me zoom in real quick though, an enhanced risk across portions of central Texas here, just across dead center Texas, from the border of Oklahoma down to the border of Mexico. So going straight through the crest of Texas. So that's where we have the threat here, mainly for large hail. So that's going to be the big threat for today, the large and possibly even gorilla-sized hail here. You kind of, or not obviously gorilla, like, you know what I mean, very, very large hail. So we do have a 30% chance hatched for hail, of course, or all across. We have the enhanced risk because we do have only enhanced risk for hail, nothing for tornadoes or winds, really. So we're going to be really kind of watching out for the hail. But again, there is a scatter threat there for tornadoes. We do have a pretty large and widespread 5% chance, including 8 million people as well, including the big area of DFW, Arlington, Plano, and Garland. So you guys do have the highest probability so far today for having tornadoes. Again, I believe we did see 10 tornadoes yesterday. And again, yesterday we only had a 5% chance here, so there's definitely going to be some scattered and possibly some tornadoes that could occur throughout this region in southern Oklahoma and much of central Texas. You guys do have that risk there for some tornadoes, but of course the main threat will be hail, and that's exactly what we're seeing here with one of our first intense storms of the day here. We have actually had a few tornado warnings so far today, specifically I believe in the morning hours, but none of those actually did bring a tornado on the ground here. But we now have around an inch and a half here report of hail just to the north there of Novus in Texas here. This is central Texas where we have the enhanced risk here, just to the southwest of DFW. So let me actually read the chat real quickly here so we see what we have here on the chat. What's up, Cringe Memes? What's up, Xenoholic? What's up, Jen? How's my day? My day's pretty good. Apparently there was a tornado close to my area at Reed Springs. I wasn't there. I mean, at least so what I've heard, there hasn't been a tornado today, but there was a tornado warning in that area not, I believe like an hour ago. Yep, we do have an enhanced risk. 2010 snowstorms. Says how's your day, Adrian? It's pretty good. What's up, CR? How are you doing? But again, we're gonna go ahead and look at what we have here in Texas right now. So let me actually try to pull up the chat real quickly on this portion of the stream. Okay, yeah. So let me go ahead and have that out real quick. So again, right now we do have a pretty intense supercell in dead center central Texas here. Just I'd say around an hour there southwest of DFW. We do have some pretty intense hail up to around an inch and a half here. Just looks like there's a little glitch there. It looks like there's like a little glitch on the hail, and that could possibly be because the large hail is causing debris here. But there's kind of a little glitch, but you can kind of see we do have around an inch and a half. Just to the actually we have over an inch and a half, so actually it has dramatically increased to around an inch, around 1.82 there. So basically nearing 2-inch size hail there to the north of Novus, to the north of Silver Valley in central Texas, and we do actually have a severe thunderstorm warning. Yeah, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning here in place for these areas. Let me actually pull it up here for southwestern Callahan County, northwestern Coleman County, southeastern Taylor County, and northeastern Reynolds counties there. So if you guys live within those regions, you guys are under a severe thunderstorm warning because you guys are looking at possibly a hazard of half dollar sized hail here. So this is going to be mainly a hail supercell. You may see some pretty gusty winds, but other than that, there should not be anything too crazy with this, unless obviously it could tighten up rotation. We do have some pretty good rotation to the north of Nova, so going to keep a very close eye on that greens and reds kind of meeting with each other. It's going to be something to keep a very close eye on. But so a severe thunderstorm was located near Lawn, which is actually right kind of to the north there of Goldsboro, where we have that hail is, and that's going to be going to the northeast at 30 miles an hour here. So areas near Rodham and areas near Bayard, you guys will eventually get hit within the next 15-20 minutes here by this cell here. Again, it's the main the main system is right here, but we do have some pretty intense hail kind of in the southern portion there of that supercell. So keeping a very close eye on that. As well, we do have some pretty intense flash flooding up into the Ozarks there and portions of the South Central. But this is kind of our only active severe thunderstorm warning that we have at the moment. And guys, I'm not sure exactly how long I will stream because I actually do have an EOC to study for. Actually, I have an EOC tomorrow. I actually had an EOC today, but I got my biology one tomorrow, and that one's obviously a little bit more serious since meteorology does kind of branch off science, so that's kind of why I gotta do good on that EOC. But as you do see, of course, we do have looks like maybe a small debris as a result of this hail. You kind of see some pretty intense hail, could really be leading to some debris just to the north there of the Novice area. Let's go ahead and look at that latest report. 1.76, so basically an inch and 3/4 size hail there between Goldsboro and Silver Valley in central Texas. And our new severe thunderstorm warning here as of now, this is our only active severe thunderstorm warning, but of course that could gradually change as we go in the next few minutes here. These storms start getting a lot more intense. Obviously, we actually had up to 3/4 of an inch earlier near Fort Chadbourne and just to the west of Winters, and now we have a cell to the east of Winters, which is going to bring in nearly 2-inch size hail here, and it's going to be a little bit of a threat as it goes toward Putnam, Bayard. You guys will eventually get affected by this supercell that's going to bring in around, I'd say, probably just under. I'm not actually sure how large baseball is, but we're definitely be looking at over ping pong sized hail within the storm here. Goldsboro, Novice, you guys are getting hit pretty hard at the moment here. So if you do actually have any outside pets here that you usually typically leave outside, whether it's a cat or a dog, I would recommend you do bring them in if you live on the path or if you live in the severe thunderstorm warning here. But because there is some pretty darn intense hail within the storm here, embedded within the storm. So I would not recommend leaving your pets outside. As well, if you have any fragile objects, whether it's a windshield of your car or whatever, you may want to bring in your car, may want to bring in anything you don't want to get damaged that can easily get broken because of hail. So just take those precautions so you can kind of avoid all that. But yeah, this is kind of a little slow start to today. Obviously, we actually have had a few other tornado warnings today. We actually had one in north central Arkansas. Actually, we had a few there in Oklahoma, but then you're going to start getting a little bit more intense here as the Cape Valleys and all those general conditions actually get a little better. Speaking of that, I'm going to actually pull up Weather Bell real quickly here so I can show you guys what we are expecting to occur within the next few hours here. So let me actually pull up the HRR on my different monitors so I can do that while you guys watch the radar. But as you do see, really watching out for what we're seeing right now is definitely going to be the threat throughout the next few hours here for some pretty intense hail and a ton of severe thunderstorm warnings definitely going to be likely. And obviously there is still a pretty potent threat for tornadoes, a 5% chance. So obviously we can't rule out the possibility for some tornadoes. So gotta keep a very close eye on that. But let me actually go ahead and pull us up on the HRR. So this is kind of what we're gonna be expecting here within the next few hours. So as you do see, in the next 2 hours or so, we're going to start seeing some storms popping off, specifically across central Texas, which is exactly what we're looking at right now. One right there just to the southwest of DFW, as well as some embedded cells there across southeastern Kansas, and as well portions there of just in general eastern Oklahoma. But as we go later on here with the next 4 hours or so, these cells are going to become a lot more intense there across north central Texas, across the Panhandle, and as well as some pretty intense storms developing across southeastern Kansas, southeastern Oklahoma, and western Arkansas and Missouri here within the next few hours. And as we go in the overnight hours here, getting into at this point 6 o'clock here, getting around 10 o'clock, storms are going to start getting very intense across central Texas. Again, going to keep a very close eye on those storms in central Texas that could very well bring some pretty intense hail, and as well pretty small threat for tornadoes in general, but can't rule out the possibility for at least a few today. And then kind of be seeing some flooding threats across portions of Missouri there, Kansas as well. Some more intense storms making their way towards the Ozarks later on in the evening. You guys are already still under a flash flood warning. And I'll continue here because we're going to be seeing some pretty intense squall line making your way here as we get into the overnight hours there into early tomorrow morning. You guys could expect some pretty gusty winds from this pretty intense squall line as well. Going to be really watching out for a small severe weather threat tomorrow as well, but it's going to be maybe a squall line. But right now, we're really watching out for some scattered supercells for the next few hours here. We're now getting actually now over 2-inch sized hail within this Novice storm here, so keeping a very close eye on that. 2.3, so pretty big jump from 1.76 to 2.3, so very large hail, now nearly baseball size, because I think baseball is like a 2.35. So yeah, if you live within the severe thunderstorm warning, specifically I'd say kind of within the let's see here, let me see what counties it is. Within the northeastern Runnels County, I would definitely bring in your pets, or as well bring in any objects that you don't want to get broken, because this hail's continuing to increase now. Still at 2.31, you kind of see some pretty overall intense storm general, getting up to a base of 68.5 decibels. Seeing some small storms across northern Texas and portions of southern Oklahoma, but right now things are getting a little bit more intense here in central Texas here, which is exactly what the HPR was showing. I'm watching from Kansas. Awesome, Landon. I'm glad you stopped by. But yeah, guys, like I did say, I'm not sure exactly how long this stream will be, because I got an EOC tomorrow. So sad. EOCs. At least it's starting off slow here. But I mean, it's going to get really active once we get into the late night hours. I mean, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, kind of right before midnight Eastern times, and when things will really get a little bit more intense here. So definitely can't guarantee I'll be streaming this whole event here. That's definitely guaranteed that I won't be streaming all this event here. If I could, I would, but obviously I do got some pretty big final tests, so that's why probably uploads will be a little bit slower, and that's exactly why I didn't really stream last week's event here, because I've been kind of studying overall for these finals and big tests. Do you expect any tornadoes tonight? Yeah, I do expect possibly a few scattered tornadoes within that 5% chance. And that 5% chance, let me actually find where I have the SPC outlook here. I thought I had the SPC. There it is. Okay, so let me actually pull this together. So I do expect possibly a few scattered tornadoes today within the next few hours here across specifically central Texas. Kind of see those kind of possibly a few service-based supercells there. Kind of to the between Abilene and DFW. It's kind of really gonna be watching out possibly for some tornadoes. I mean, not gonna be a huge wave of tornadoes within linear lines like we saw in Alabama or Mississippi earlier this year in March, but definitely possibly 1 or 2 scattered tornadoes, and maybe even 5 tornadoes today. It's gonna definitely be a lower number. I don't see more than 10 tornadoes today. I would definitely get shocked if there were more than 10 tornadoes today. I think we actually got 10 yesterday to be exact. I'm not exactly 100% sure though. We actually go ahead and confirm that. Oops, I don't want to do that. I just clicked the wrong tab. Okay, so let's go to the storm reports real quick and see exactly what happened yesterday. So yeah, yesterday we actually now 11 tornado reports there. We actually had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those in Colorado. We actually had 4 of those in Texas, and as well 1 of those in Oklahoma. So Colorado definitely got hit pretty hard there in the eastern portion of the state there. So that's very interesting that Colorado got the most amount of tornadoes yesterday. What's up, Christine? Hey, any more severe weather for Tulsa? We were under a tornado warning all last night till 10 a.m. Oh, yeah, tornado watch. I'm about to say tornado warning all night. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, tornado watch. Yeah, I saw actually when I woke up. There are tornado watches across Oklahoma and I think even portions of the Ozarks. But you could expect a few more storms, but they definitely won't be as severe. So we're going to be seeing some pretty intense storms, at least maybe one or two within the next hour or so. But after that, you could see some light rain. Other than that, you're basically over. So yeah, yesterday was definitely the main event for you guys. But now it's going to be a lot less severe across Tulsa. There you can see some scattered, discrete storms. But other than that, Tulsa is out of the woods for the main severe weather. But right, you know who's not out of the woods is Central Texas. Now getting, let's see here, the hail report up to now 2.5-inch size hail. But yeah, pretty intense hail, 2.5. So we're over baseball size hail, 2.45. So if you live in the Rawdon area, I would definitely recommend you do bring in your pets inside because that's some very large hail, and it could definitely be actually it's dropped to 1.96, but still it's basically 2-inch sized hail. So if you live within the Rawdon area, I would still, even though it's not 2.5 anymore or 2.4, I would recommend you do bring in your pets inside because this is still some pretty large hail. And although 2-inch size hail may not be deadly, but it could still obviously injure pets and even humans. So if you have outside pets, please bring them inside. If you don't want your car to be damaged, I would also recommend bring that inside because this hail is going to be obviously falling very quickly from the sky. And if it's that large, to 2 inches, maybe even over 2 inches, by the time it gets toward that region, I would overall in general be more safe than sorry, and bring in any objects like cars or anything like that within shelter here. What's up, Harrison? How are you doing here? So, of course, like I did say, really watching out for this one little cell here, which is in the dead center central Texas, more like north central Texas. But yeah, as you do see, it is kind of going to be making its way towards a little bit more of a populated area. So it's going to be expected here to possibly, by the time, make its way towards the DFW area within the next hour or so. And by the time we get to the next hour or so, we'll be seeing a lot more cells like that across the region here. By the time we get to that time frame, that's exactly what the HBAR at least is showing here. But you do see still severe thunderstorm warning here across areas including Novice, just to the north of Silver Valley, and it's likely to extend towards the east here into Rawdon, Putnam, and maybe even Cross Plains may be included within that severe thunderstorm warning because it still is a pretty intense storm here. I have no idea, Harrison. I don't know about that. I don't really pay attention to his like his videos, and I don't have Instagram and all that, so I'm not sure whether that is true or not. Hey, what's up, Eric's Forecast? How are you doing? But I mean, if he was, I hope he's okay. But I have not a single word about that. I mean, I'm not sure where you're getting that from. Either way, hopefully he wasn't in one. That definitely not something the weather community wants to see there. Alright, guys, but right now we're monitoring the severe weather across portions of north central Texas. We do have an enhanced risk in effect here. It's the latest update. So we didn't get an enhanced risk yesterday, but we have one today here. So that's going to be the thing to keep a close eye on. We do have a 30% chance hatched for hail, so it could be a very big threat here for some significant hail. As well, overall, pretty widespread wind threat from New England to the border of Mexico. We actually have 32.4 million people under at least a 5%, and then we have around 25 million additional people within a 15%, including the Great Lakes. So very odd, I guess, or not very odd because it is late April, but still, I mean, it's a pretty. I mean, we have a slight risk across portions of the Northeast. Obviously, that's typical for late April. I don't know. But yeah, we do actually have an enhanced risk for around, basically, if we round it up, 8 million people, including DFW, Arlington, Plano, and Garland. It's exactly where we'll be watching for large hail, and that's actually where we do have the cell we're watching out right now. Is basically in the dead center, in the dead heart of this enhanced risk here. So looks like the SPC is already on a, I guess, little streak here on being accurate, but we do actually have the hail's gradually decreasing now at 1.7, but still some very large hail We actually had some pretty large hail near Goldsboro specifically. That's actually where we did reach up to 2.6-inch size hail there, right in that pretty big. Let me actually confirm that here. Let's see how large that hail got. So you look at that, got to 2.65. So over 2.5-inch size hail. I mean, it really, it definitely brought at least baseball sized hail, which is pretty surprising here. One of the first severe thunderstorm warning storms. Now we have another severe thunderstorm warning here. Let's actually take a look at that here. So it's kind of the southern portion there of Texas, right on the border, just north of the Del Rio. Let's see here. Let's go to San Antonio and see how that radar site is. I kind of want to use the big city ones because those tend to cover a large area. Because that's probably gonna be the best one. I mean, we could also check out San Angelo, see how good that one is. But let's go ahead and wait for the radar site to load here. Let's go ahead and just overall wait. But we do have a severe thunderstorm warning here, and this severe thunderstorm warning covers central Valverde County in south central Texas, and it's gonna be until 4:30 Central Time. And it looks like a severe thunderstorm was located near Seminole Canyon State Park, or 11 miles west of Comstock, moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. So let's go ahead and see if this pops up for us. And there it is. Oh yeah, that's definitely not the best radar site to look at. That's actually not even a good radar site to look at. Let's see if there's any good ones we can look at. So let's actually try San Angelo, because I'm not actually, yeah, San Angelo's gonna definitely be a lot better, I think. But yeah, this is our second severe thunderstorm warning that we currently have at the moment. We don't have any other severe thunderstorm warnings. But oh yeah, look at these pretty intense storms here coming from portions of northern Mexico, and this is exactly where we have this whole enhanced risk. I mean, this enhanced risk going all the way across central Texas here. I mean, it's going through DFW, through San Angelo, going all the way to the border with Mexico. So a lot of these storms will kind of be focused just going up the coast of Texas, kind of just forming in the south central part of the state, and just making their way towards the northeast here, going to Oklahoma and as well northern Texas. And that's going to be definitely the thing to look out for today. But actually, San Angelo is going to work for both things because it covers this storm and it covers these storms down here. But we're looking at here the main threat here, precautions. It's going to be overall looking at 16-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail. So this one's going to be a little bit more of a wind threat here. We have some pretty broad rotations. Look at the hail reports getting basically under half an inch there, or basically just over half an inch there. And then on the Mexico side of the severe thunderstorm warning, we actually have nearly inch-sized hail. So overall, we're basically seeing pea-sized hail at the moment across the region, even possibly even quarter-sized hail. Do you think southwest Missouri has a tornado threat and severe weather threat through tonight? So let's go ahead and look at the ARRR. So it's mainly going to be a flooding threat, really. I mean, you're not looking at a big threat for supercells, really. And actually, you won't be seeing that many supercells even within your area. They're actually going to stay towards Oklahoma and basically Texas. Maybe a few, maybe in the far western portion there of Arkansas. But I don't see anything in southwestern Missouri for tonight that's anything concerning here. You're going to be mainly seeing maybe wind and flooding is going to be the main threat. You're actually under a flash flood warning at the moment here. But yeah, you're not looking at a tornado threat whatsoever, really. At least based on what we're looking at in the models. I mean, I do believe, let me actually go ahead and confirm this. I do believe, yeah, you're actually not even at a risk for tornadoes at all. So I figured you weren't. So you're actually not even at a risk for tornadoes whatsoever. But obviously, it doesn't really mean that you can't get a tornado. But obviously, the probability is really, really, really low. So I would not be worried at all. But right now, we do have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings here. That's actually, we have a third one now in northeastern Arkansas. So we actually have another severe thunderstorm warning here, but this one's for Tennessee. This one's for Arkansas and to the border with Missouri. So let's go ahead and look at that here. So let me actually let's see here. Let me add this to my favorites real quick, San Angelo, and now we can go towards the Memphis radar here because that's actually deep into. Oh, I thought that was Arkansas. Okay, that's far southwestern Missouri, near the Illinois border. So actually, I thought that was Arkansas. So it's actually not Arkansas at all. So let's actually change radar sites and go to, um, let's go to Kentucky here real quickly here. Let's go to the Paducah one. I don't know. I guess I'm not too good with geography without the state lines being labeled. I could have sworn that was Arkansas. Oh well. What's up, Mass Doc? How are you doing? I'm doing great today. Thank you for asking. Alright, Paducah, take your time. Take your time and load. But yeah, we have a lot of last little warnings here. So let's go ahead and look at this severe thunderstorm from warning here. So yeah, this is looking at mainly for a wind threat. Really, I mean it's gonna be kind of part of a mini linear mode here of storms across southeastern Missouri, and it's gonna make its way towards Kentucky and portions of southern Illinois. But that's definitely not a big threat whatsoever. It's gonna be mainly pretty gusty winds, so I would definitely watch out and limit being outside, because obviously gusty winds and possibly linear modes could definitely bring in some pretty gusty winds, allowing for trees and power outages to go down or power lines to go down. So definitely still keep a close eye on it, even though there's very, very little hail. And I mean, it's going to be mainly just a little threat for gusts, but still keep a close eye on that, because obviously these thunderstorms in general can bring in some pretty gusty winds, which can obviously lead to deaths here. I do believe that's the leading threat. Falling trees, I do believe, is a leading threat for like severe weather, like other than tornadoes, I think. But yeah, as you do see up there, we still have up to an inch and a quarter there into that cell where we have that first cell that we're covering early in the stream here. So that's now making its way towards Rawdon, slowly going to the northeast here, as well as some pretty intense storms spawning and to just across the Del Rio from Mexico and Texas. So some pretty intense storms there. We have basically just under an inch size hail, which is basically crossing right on the border there. So pretty intense hail for that region, as well as some kind of less intense hail to the north. We actually have a small little dot of just pea-sized hail, but still, we currently have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in Texas, and we have 1 in south and portions of southwestern Missouri there. So that actually one in Missouri we just tried to look at. So if you're new, skip like a minute or so back, and that's the coverage on that. But this one really is just wind, and this one's gonna be more of a hail and winds here, and I guess more of a supercell type storm. But let's go keep a look on this one here. Let's actually look at 3D. I have not looked at 3D just yet today, but let's go ahead and see. Okay, a really nice base here, getting up to 50,000 ecotops. You're actually this little kind of, I guess, the updraft up there, getting really over 50,000, 52,000. Get a very close structure on this, though. Let's actually look at the rotation, and there are some pretty broad rotation. Not really concerned, though, and as well, it looks like there is going to be some small debris as a result of this hail. But we're now still, see the latest report, basically, yeah, we're still at an inch and a quarter, so it's dramatically still decreasing in a way. Because obviously it was up to 2.65 inch size hail around a few minutes ago here. So it definitely has decreased quite a bit here in hail size. But of course, if you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe to the channel as well. If you guys want to support the stream even more, be sure to use the super chat button. I would greatly appreciate if you guys did use the super chat button. But we now have a new severe thunderstorm warning here for this cell I'm looking at here. They finally extended a severe thunderstorm warning to the east, so now it's including now Rawdon, like I expected, and Ears and Cross Plains. So the new counties that are under this severe thunderstorm warning for north central Texas includes let's see here, southeastern Callahan County and northeastern Coleman County. So if you know anybody in Callahan in Coleman County, you guys are now under a severe thunderstorm warning, and there is going to be a pretty big threat for hail. Look at that, $half size hail, and it's going to be until 4:30 Central Time here. So it's going to be a pretty long-lasting warning. But a severe thunderstorm was located near Upland, or 18 miles north of Coleman, moving east at 60 miles an hour. So it's a very fast-moving storm here. So it's expected to be near the Rawdon area by 4 o'clock Central Time, so it will be within the next 7 minutes or so. Like I did say, it is moving northeast at 60 miles an hour. It should be near Cross Plains at 4:10, which is right there, and by Atwell by 4:15 here, and well, I don't see that here. So cross plains in the Rodden area, you guys are expecting to get hit with the next 7 to 10 minutes here, as it is, of course, being quite quickly. But the big threat is going to be the hail. Let's go look at the latest report. It's now 1.26, so it actually has gone up. Actually, now just went back down to 1.25. So overall, we are seeing some pretty consistent hail size of 1.25 inches. So some pretty large hail, but some more intense storms they're developing in north central Mexico. So we're gonna keep a close eye on that, as we can maybe start to see some more severe thunderstorms pop up across central Texas there. But that's what we have so far. Again, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning there for southwestern Missouri. Sorry, southeastern Missouri. I keep saying southwestern. Southeastern Missouri there near the Mississippi River. But right now we're going to keep a very close eye on these storms up here into portions of Texas. But again, if you've already done so, be sure to subscribe to the channel, guys. But let's now go ahead and look at the SPCU website here real quick. I actually want to see if we have any medical discussions just yet. So let's actually look at what we have. So far we've had 7 wind reports and 1 hail report, and we actually do have now a new mesoscale discussion here, which is basically where these storms are, or just to the north of where these storms are. So we have a mesoscale discussion for areas just north of where the current storms we have right now are located. So this includes look at that. So a weather threat for a tornado watch 119 continues. The greatest threat will be supercells capable of producing 2+ inch size hail. A tornado also remains possible. Additional storms may form along a stalled surface boundary. So like I did say, there is going to be some scattered tornadoes possible, but the big threat will be hail. Looking at very large hail. As we're looking at some pretty good values as well. Dew points in the mid to upper 60s. There actually some areas may even reach the lower 70s according to some models, getting over 2,000 joules per kilogram there in surface cape. And again, tornado remains a possibility, but really, like I did say, it's going to be mainly a big hail threat. Obviously, let's go ahead now and look here at the watches. So we do still have here I believe this is a tornado watch here. Yeah, this is a tornado watch. Includes portions of southwestern and south central Texas, including Junction, just out of San Angelo, and just outside San Antonio, Del Rio, and just that general region there within those red boundaries. So tornado still at a moderate threat, so it's still a possibility. We can't rule out the possibility for tornadoes today. 1 or 2 possible within this region in general, but I think we can get anywhere from 3 to 5 tornadoes overall today for tornadoes. I don't see us getting any high numbers like 10 or 10 plus. But likelihood in general for tornadoes is moderate, but the threat for them being 82 plus is going to be very low here. Severe winds going to definitely bring in. It's going to be overall pretty likely here. We have a pretty high probability there for some severe wind. But 65 plus knots is going to be a little bit on the moderate side. So overall, gusty winds and hail, look at that. Severe hail, very, very high, and 2+ inch diameter hail as well. Pretty high there. So as you do see, we do still have some severe thunderstorm warnings there, just kind of on the edge of where that mesoscale discussion is. So it's kind of covering a pretty good area as well. Another mesoscale discussion here for areas like we just mentioned there, we had that severe thunderstorm warning in southeastern Missouri. This is going to be a threat there, mainly for damaging winds here. So damaging winds going to be the threat here. A lot less favorable conditions for big hail, 1,000 joules per kilogram really. And looks like values really won't be too good on the storm severity at 150. So I mean, it's just overall going to be a big wind threat there, kind of linear mode of storms across that region. But that's kind of what we have so far. At least as it right now. So 7 wind reports across Arkansas and portion of the Ozarks. Most of the discussions, we actually have 3 currently. We have 2 in Texas and as well 1 there in the Ohio River Valley. But that's kind of all we have so far. Anything new at the moment here. But let's go ahead and look now what we have so far. Any updates within these storms across portions of Texas here. So let's go ahead and keep a very close eye on these storms. Still bringing in some pretty intense hail. We actually, with this specific cell, we actually reached almost 2.7 inch size hail. So overall, some pretty significant hail within these storms. It's going to be very likely throughout the whole night, or throughout the whole day here in the evening hours here. So keeping a very, very close eye on some pretty darn intense severe weather across Texas and as well across portions of Oklahoma. But let's go ahead and look at rotation here. See if there's anything on rotation. And there is still some broad rotation, but at the moment we're not looking at anything concerning here. But we now have a second severe thunderstorm warning here across portions of southwestern Missouri. So we have a second one there, just kind of on the border there of the Mississippi River. So going to keep a very, very close eye on that. Yeah, it looks like it looks like we're gonna keep a very close eye on this storm though, because it still has a pretty decent structure to it. It kind of does have a decent amount of outflow on this right here, as well as some pretty good inflow. So there is still keeping a very close eye on this. I'm not sure if it will get warned, tornado warned, but it does have a pretty decent structure to it. Actually, we may want to look at the DFW radar site now, because that one's definitely a lot better, I think, than the San Angelo one. And we actually did save the San Angelo one, so if anything, we can go back to that to look at those storms down there on the border with Mexico. But let's go ahead and look at what we have here. So yeah, this one's actually not showing any rotation or any hook echo, but it is showing some decent rotation. We do have now 1.34 inch size hail, so it is gradually on the rise. But again, like I did say, there is nothing too concerning here with tornadoes or with it being tornado warrant. So very, very, very low probability, but getting actually over 65 decibels on this. So keeping a very, very close eye on that. But again, we do have still inch-sized hail there into central Texas. So, of course, if you guys are in that region, I would recommend you guys do bring your pets inside. But again, right now it's starting off a little on the slower side for sure. It's definitely starting very, very slow. But we got a report down there here earlier on when this has some pretty intense hail up to novice there, up to nearly 2-inch size hail. So that is definitely a pretty big threat there for those areas down there. It's going to continue to be a threat across the northeast. But again, there's really not anything too crazy in rotation, but keeping a very close eye on it for sure. Actually, guys, I do apologize. I actually do have to go. I had no idea I had to go whatsoever, but I do unfortunately have to go. So I don't know why. Apparently, my parents are taking me somewhere, and I told them I was gonna stream. But yeah, guys, I have to go. I really do apologize again for the inconvenience. I was planning on streaming for hours and hours, but my parents are taking me somewhere for some reason. But again, I do apologize for that. I will try to have a video out later today. So stay tuned. I'm going to try to have a video out later today. Maybe by 6:30, 7 o'clock here. But Hope you guys enjoy the stream here. Again, I do apologize for the inconvenience of that, but I'll see you guys later. Again, I do apologize for the inconvenience. Not sure why my parents decided to just make plans. But again, last thing I'm going to say here is we are seeing some storms right now across north central Texas. Again, some pretty intense storms within that region in general. And it's going to continue to be a pretty big threat across DFW as well across central Texas. Some pretty intense storms